Hi guys. Yeah, it's really tough to make sure everything opens in the right way, isn't it? Got to make sure you can hear me. I probably will stop doing these checks since I'm so happy. Stop doing these checks since it seems like it's always working and I never have that problem that I used to have. But I do want to make sure that the chat is open. Hi, anybody there? So look at this. Yeah. First of all, I have to give credit. Credit due. Let's see here. That's personal. That's personal. 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 Okay. Let's see here. Over here, Benjamin Sundance asked, and I saw that, and I said, "Hell yeah!" Because Benjamin Sundance is the one that showed this to me. I was over here at my Was This Atlantis page posting. Now that's not the same place. I got a lot of stuff from Algeria, but you can see the link. Just go to facebook.com Was This Atlantis page, and you can find these locations yourself. That's Algeria. I just found that interesting thing. This is, I think this is the same place, and the place, if you saw the thumbnail, is the Grand Canyon. I think it's incredible. So let's take a look around. It won't be a long video. Oh, I do want to go in and monetize it. Hold on. Let me just do that first. That's important to me, even though I only make 15 bucks a month on YouTube. I'm going to have to start figuring out a way to monetize more stuff. You can see it here live. When it starts, it's never monetized. So you got to monetize it. And I got to do it like, okay, now when it's a live stream, you don't have to do all those choices. But once it's done, you have to do it. We can talk about YouTube. YouTube, unfortunately, shouldn't be the only platform somebody's on. And that's my problem, isn't it? So here we go. Yeah, I have Twitter now, and Facebook. And I guess you can monetize Facebook. But so that's no, that's actually back up. Not quite in Mauritania. I think that's in Algeria as well. Going through some of these, if I can zoom in on this one, you can see the modern day highway here, and then over here, these ancient lines. It looks like this is down in South Africa, or actually a little north. I think it's South Africa. Just some stuff I found recently. Let's zoom back out. And then we'll go and look at those Grand Canyon images on Google Earth. I don't know what that is. Yeah, so there's a lot of ancient activity out there, isn't there? And I'm always suspect of stuff. I mean, are these lines in Namibia natural or are they unnatural? Part of me says that I'm an idiot if I think they're unnatural. Part of me wonders how sand dunes can turn into this. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, obviously, I don't have any evidence. Later on, those same sand dunes turn into this, and the question is if they were created unnaturally, who would have done that? Look at that line going all the way across. So yeah, I've been putting up, and that's interesting that it goes underneath, but I still don't think that makes it unnatural. I don't know. I mean, yeah. And this little butting up of that, I don't know. Was it crossing? Maybe it crossed, actually. And maybe then later on there was some kind of a break, a marriage of sand dunes. Yeah, like DNA, right? Or cells. But that one probably went that way. Anyways, I didn't bring you here to talk about these. I am scanning backwards just to see what we missed. I think you probably saw these canals near the Taman Reset Paleo River area, kind of showing this ancient activity near the richat structure. But let's go back to the place we're talking about, which is here, basically. Let's zoom out a little. This is for topographical purposes. This is the Grand Canyon. And I don't know much about the Grand Canyon. I've never actually been there, which is a tragedy since I live very close. I might have to go there very soon. The thing about that is that you know, you can't really get to these places very easily, and the place that I'm looking at is right here. So I've kind of learned that area and recognized it, and this mound was shown to me. By the way, did I just accept his friendship? I just did. I gave him credit. This mound here, it just seems so out of place when you compare it to the rest of what's going on. As you may have seen in previous pictures that I just showed you, you've got this other, what I call quarrying. Now let's talk about it here. It's so high up, right? Well, the Grand Canyon was changed by water. So now uniformitarianism is actually a bad word now to say things happen so slowly. I grew up thinking the Grand Canyon was created over millions and millions of years. But now we're learning that some events cause things to change even more recently. So the question is how recent? Now, one thing about this crazy quarrying or ancient mining that's going on here, which I believe it is, I know that I may be sounding crazy, you've got a plateau that's not touched. So when you look at the topographical, you realize the yellow area is being mined at 3,800 feet above sea level. The river is down there, so we've got about a 2,000 foot difference right there, don't we, between the yellow and the blue, which is 1155. So when you compare 38 with 1155, we've got a difference of over 2,000 feet. And then there's the red. That's 5439, 5883. So that's another 2,000 feet at the top. And you don't see that activity up there. No, you only see it where the water's been worn down from a water event of some sort. If you believe, I'm not going to make an opinion on that because I'm not a geologist and I'm not very good. But what I like to report is what I can see. So we have this area here, and it's right between the 580. Now we have it changed. See, if I click the little lock, it won't change. But then the colors have to be right. Otherwise, don't click the lock if it's not a good. This is pretty good, I think. It shows almost realistic colors, except for the top being red. The very top's going to be white, and it's not snow, of course. Sometimes these numbers are not so spread out. For example, the richat structure only goes from 2,000 down to about 1,100 also. So it's the whole scope is only 1,000 feet. So this is a big difference here. We have this Joanne Shepard. Hello, thank you. We have this area here that I took all those pictures at what this was, this Atlantis page. I hope you go follow so you can go to these locations yourself. There's the mound, and that really caught me off guard, when I saw that. I was surprised because, I always question myself, am I crazy for thinking that these lines could be anything but natural? But when you look at the scope and realize that it's happening in between two layers, and when you back out, you can see straight lines. And when you zoom in, you wonder, first of all, were they in relationship with water? Because when you see this coming through there like that and the lines going perpendicular, I feel like it's almost by design that the water was going to eventually erode it. Was it a long-term project where they made these lines and then they simply walked away, like in some other examples I've shown you? Would love to pull one up right now very quickly. Not this one. This is more of a. I feel like that's like in a liquid form being spread along the sand. No, the one that I want to show you is coming soon. I just have to find it. I usually have these things. Oh, there. It's the wrong folder. So I have that right here. It's nice to be armed with stuff. So in Africa, I can show you both of these situations. And this, it's just amazing to me that they did this. Who did it? I don't know. It's not very long. It's a couple miles, Hey, maybe it's modern day. But then you see these lines being quarried. And the question I have is, why would they just walk away from this and not quarry it? And who are they? And you see this, it looks like it's not really, mainstream science has an explanation for this, as I've shown before. And I'm not afraid to talk about it, because I'm not trying to say that there's only one explanation. It's aliens. That's not me. I'm looking for that picture so I can show you. But this is called, well, according to, it depends where you go, right? If you go to Utah, it's called the Needles. And I'm looking for the picture, but I'm not finding it for some reason. Let me go back. Okay, starting over. I'm not really happy with Windows 10 and the way the folders are responding. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, I think that I can go to a folder called Utah and find it, right? Maybe? Yeah, there we go. So this is a picture from a sign that I took at Utah. Sorry about the wait. This is a picture from a sign. Nathan Haltom, how are you? Well, as long as I don't drop out, right? I got to keep going here. I can't stop, and I look over and I see a green light on my whatchamacallit, OBS. As long as I have that green light, I keep on going. I do speed tests sometimes, and I'm really surprised at the low upload numbers. But let's keep the rest of the people happy and keep talking about this. Let's see here. These are plateaus that just break apart into perfect little squares. How is that? I didn't learn this in my brief geology classes. Weathering follows the magic phi number of a 1.6, right? I don't know about this, but when you look at the picture I just showed you, you don't see just two sets of lines. You see it, actually, you're seeing three sets of lines there. And I just closed that window, but I can open it back up. And when you look at it, take a look at how many sets of lines. Let's look at the one all by itself. The other quarried one, it seems like they're going all over the place. But here, you're not seeing two sets of lines. You're seeing three sets of parallel lines. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy, right? Look over here. It goes across. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go there, they're not perfectly parallel. Okay, they're not perfectly parallel, but they're consistent enough. And then you've got this other set. Where's the last set? I want to make sure I identify it for you. I think it's right there, going in this direction. Okay, one more time. We've got these. 1, 2, 3. Again, then we've got these. 1, 2, 3 going that direction. And last but not least, we've got this other direction here. I can see those lines, and kind of here. They don't look parallel, but this is a funny angle. And they're hard to see in this one. Right there is one of them. Okay, so you have three sets, not two. So again, when you talk about the mainstream explanation, you have to understand that they're kind of ignoring this phenomenon. And when you see the needles, I still think that takes a long time. I don't think that happened overnight. That's another problem with Utah and the Grand Canyon. But when you go back and you see these mounds that were thankfully discovered by one of my viewers, I got to back out to find it. It's right there. You look at that compared to the rest of what's going on, and it, to me, it's pretty obvious that something carved that shape and the saddle between it. And it does remind me of the place that I do want to go in the... I've been there, but I didn't get on top of it with like a drone. I really want to get up close to it. And I'll show you right now what I'm talking about in the richat structure area, where I visited 2 times. I have to keep saying that because people say that I need to give myself more credit, that I'm the only person who's been there twice so far. Although Indie Archaeology's going back this week and he's going to get some drone shots. Let's see if he hears this message. And there's the richat up there, but I'm going over here, and hopefully he can take the drive out and get some drone shots of this mountain and this line. and how wide it is and how it looks up close from the sky. I mean, I guess I could have gone there myself and climbed over, but there's the road right there. So you just get up and climb up there, right? It looks pretty steep, I would say, and I do believe that this is probably a unnatural mound also, and over here we have one more. So they're connected in the same way. And I know here's a question. If we take this direction, here, and this direction, and we have to kind of mark it a couple ways. If I point this in, let's just say up-down direction, where do we stand? It's almost 45 degrees. Now, people say, does that mean it's the solstice? It's aiming towards the solstice? Well, the solstice is 23.5 degrees, so I don't think so. Is it a previous axis of the Earth? Then it's a long time ago, because I don't believe we had an axis shift in the last. First of all, I don't think this is Atlantis. I think this was before Atlantis, but I don't want to get too far into that. I call this Rudolph, and I hope that Indie Archaeology goes here and gets a quick drone shot, and maybe both, and if they can go back and forth. How far apart are they? That's another good question. They're not even a mile apart, okay? So when you go over here and you get to the mound, where's the mound? Let me back out and find that and make sure we're north. There we go. Then we can also follow this same pattern, can't we? And take a look at that. Now the next question is, how far apart are those points? I think it's not quite 0.89 miles. It's actually just 0.13 miles, but they are going in the same direction, aren't they? So this is a new revelation, honestly, for me too. I'm discovering it live. But if you take that and you point it up down, you're getting a certain degree. I don't know how we can pull that off of Google Earth. I can get a protractor, and then we go back over here and we do the same thing. Let me stop. Let me turn that off and go back. This is the hot shit, right? This is it right there. That is the same orientation as around the world. So I could probably rechange this video title to Grand Canyon Mounds Match Richat Structure Mounds. I do believe these two mounds were created from mining activity. If you look at this line, there's a bunch of them. I call those quarrying lines. I don't think those are canals. They're out on the other side as well. And they're not just up here by this part. If you go down, you can see them all throughout here, and all the way down here, you can also see them. So these quarrying, wait, I'm trying to find them. Let me back out a little bit. Oh yeah, over here, these two so-called mounds. You can see these lines, and these lines have been weathered. They're not new. They're not just 12,000 years old. These canals, I went there. I walked down, not this canal, but the one that's parallel to it, right here. And I unfortunately didn't go out here to a couple of technical difficulties, but I do believe that since Bright Insight wants these nearby. Where is it? Sorry. They're right about here. Sorry, I'm lost it now. Where are we? Oh, here they are. It's actually quite not too close. You need to probably plan your trip. That's only 20 miles. And there's a road right here that you can take and do the drone over this. This is what Bright Insight wanted. Jimmy from Bright Insight. So there you go. Can you believe that? What are we looking at? We're looking at a correlation here. These two mounds that I'm so curious about, if we orient them like that, or if we make them flat, where it's like 45 degrees almost. When I say 45 degrees, I'm talking about 45 degrees off of the north-south. So it's like, I could call that northwest. 45 degrees from the, I don't know, where do we start there? 0? Have to take a look at that. And then here again, let's make that again, whoops. And here you go. Whoops, that's not working? Oh yeah, 45 is right there. So I was looking at that. Now look at it. It's exactly horizontal. So we have something correlated here. I'm not perfect. I don't know if they were looking for perfection. I think that this was a product of overburden dumping, but it seems like if you look at this, that doesn't seem like a product of overburden dumping. That seems like a deliberate mound put on top of the plateau where they were doing all this work. And you see these things getting cut off. So what it tells me is that there was an event that flooded through there and cut off the shoreline, or created a new shoreline and took away all that stuff. So yeah, you be the judge of what I'm showing you. Any questions over here before I drop out myself? I mean, I didn't really want to do a long video, but I think this is a hot topic. And I think that if you know the Grand Canyon area, I do want to go out there and try to take a look at some of this myself. It can be dangerous. I mean, as we just saw, the road that, well, okay, I didn't show that here. If you go to these areas, first you got to get up here on the top plateau, right? And then take the road over. I found the road earlier. I don't remember. There's a road right there. So we could, is that a car road? Off-road, that's a dirt road. You could take that over there. I don't know the area very well. As I mentioned, I've never visited the Grand Canyon. I've always avoided that trip because it was always never with my friends in high school. We weren't really into that stuff. Let's see how far we can get. See, and it kind of ends right there, and then you've got a change in what looks like a change in altitude. So even if you can get to these roads, getting down to where these quarry fields are is a different story indeed. Where is it? And you know, you kind of wonder about other possible mounds. But I don't want to be that guy that points at everything and says, yeah, that's another. I'm not that person. So I still question whether or not these types of breakups are natural or not. You know, I just, as I said, using that picture that I showed you about the weathering and the needling, that it just doesn't add up. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for your time. This was very, and I said his name earlier and I totally forgot it already. I'm not really good at memorizing names off social media, but I did friend him, so we can talk all about this. He did a great job finding that. And, you know, this is something I'd like to get up against. What's that? Why are we seeing circles? And are these cuts? You know, this whole saddle here is suspect. The circular, I mean, is that obviously you wouldn't call that a circular dike. In mainstream geology, it would have to be a weathering process where this plateau gradually over time gets worked away by erosion, wind erosion, water erosion. But why is it just not matching up with the rest? What's over here? Is that another one? Is that another mound? Not really. Alrighty. That's it. I'm out of here. Yeah, a research grid like exactly. And by the way, that's my theory. Sorry, I'm talking to Nathan, who said his first impression was a search grid. And I think the same thing. They were doing some type of, oh look, it's back. Not here, but the one that I showed you before, the before and after, is that it was like a search. Like they were just doing these lines, and they were pulling out some stuff when they did that, and they were figuring out what was valuable and where to go. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were looking for something specific like lithium or gold, obviously, is one of them. I mean, this over here on the right kind of tells me they wanted the rock. They wanted the blocks. When you go here in Algeria, and I don't know how to pronounce the place, I want to see these places with these squares, because that looks like deliberate quarrying of large blocks. I mean, I got to measure that again, but I think they were 10 feet apart. Can't remember very well. But over here, it's like they're cutting it up to, not like if you were going to serve that, nobody's going to serve a cake like that. if you're going to cut a piece of cake, you're going to get a nice cube. Over here, you cut it like that, you're destroying the cake, right? Obviously, my cake analogy is kind of focusing on this quarrying of blocks. And here, I think that maybe they were quarrying ore, and maybe the ore, especially when you see it in the Grand Canyon like that, maybe the ore was collected, like I say, I don't want to theorize on stuff. I just want to show you what we found. So with that being said, y'all have a great day. I know I'm not going to. I got to go do some work, and it's windy. Hell, you do what you can. Let's see if this thing works. Ready, go.